By the end of today, we will have completed almost a full cycle of our 2-week timetable. Hopefully, we will soon have worked out what works and what doesn't, and what helps us get through the day. We've started to learn where to go and when, and most of the time, we're now in the right place at the right time with the right equipment. Over the last 2 weeks, our students have listened a lot. They've heard a lot from a lot of people. Much of it has been about who we are, what it means to be prior, and what it means to belong. And this morning, I was tasked to draw that theme together and bring our week to some kind of conclusion. Over the past 2 weeks, we've thought about flags and, despite the complexities of their symbolism, what it means to have an emblem of national belonging, of being proud of who we are and where we come from. We have been reminded that here at Prior Park, we belong to a Christian community in the Catholic tradition, that each of us is uniquely and wonderfully made, and in being so, that we will always be enough, just as we are. We have celebrated that we are a school that sings together. We sang our favourite hymn 3 times in just 5 days, and in our lessons, we've been encouraged to be curious, to notice what makes each subject unique and how we fit into the rhythms and dynamics of each class alongside our new teachers and our new friends. And each day, for almost 2 weeks, we have piled into minibuses emblazoned with the college crest, put on our uniforms with their badge, clipped on our ID badges, and we all take the same steps through the same school gates. All of these are signs that mark us out as part of this school family. All of this brought me to 3 quotations the children found on their seats when they arrived in chapel this morning. A jumble of boots by the door and a smell of something delicious floated from the kitchen. It was simply wonderful. Would you like to come and live with me? Miss Honey asked. Yes, please, Matilda whispered. Yes, please. And the 4 thrones at Cair Paravel stood empty until the day when Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy sat upon them, crowned as kings and queens. It's 1,000,000 times nicer to be Anne of Green Gables than Anne of nowhere in particular. I asked them why so many stories begin with children who are alone. Harry Potter is an orphan. Matilda's parents are too busy watching telly to notice their daughter is a genius. The Pevensey children in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe are evacuated, sent away from their family. And Anne of Green Gables is adopted after years of being passed from place to place. I could go on and on and on. Authors of children's fiction do this because when parents or parental figures are gone, children are free to explore, to take risks and discover who they are and where they belong. It's sad, but it gives space for the adventure to begin. And even when the beginning is lonely, the story nearly always bends towards belonging. In Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Harry steps into the burrow for the very first time, and the book describes a jumble of boots by the door, and a smell of something delicious floating from the kitchen. Harry had never known a home like that, but suddenly, a far cry from his cupboard under the stairs, he belonged. In Matilda, Miss Honey says quietly, "Would you like to come and live with me?" And Matilda whispers back, "Yes, please." That one act of kindness changes everything. And in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, when the 4 children sit together on the thrones at Cair Paravel, they're not just kings and queens. They're a family. These stories show us that belonging isn't always about where you start. It's about the people who welcome you and accept you and make you feel at home. I hope in the past couple of weeks there have been plenty of people to welcome our young people, whether they are new to the school or already well known to us. I also hope that here at Prior Park we need no tragic beginnings to create belonging. Unlike in novels, we don't need to lose something before we can find it. Our school can be that chosen family, a place where belonging isn't accidental, but something we choose to build together. Because it's surprisingly easy, isn't it, to make someone feel like they don't belong, ignoring them, excluding them, whispering behind their back. All obvious examples. But it doesn't have to be that clear cut. Sometimes it's just as easy to forget in the busyness of the day-to-day, and the further into term we get, the busier it tends to be, to smile, say hello, save a seat, invite someone to a game or a group, to be kind, to build a kind community where everyone feels welcome is a choice we make daily. We are all in it together. For every time someone has smiled at you and made you feel seen, you might remember another time when silence made you feel invisible. For every invitation that made you feel part of a group, there may be a moment when no one thought to ask you. For every kindness that gave you confidence, there may be an unkindness that chipped it away. Both moments stay with us, but it's the kind ones that give us strength, and the unkind ones we must be careful not to repeat. Knowing I was going to be talking about this, I asked a few people what they felt and when they felt they really belonged at Prior Park, when they felt strongest because they were part of the team and not on their own. Many spoke movingly of the time and patience shown by staff. A cup of tea here, a friendly ear there, one-to-one tutorials when they were struggling, knowing someone believed that they could succeed even when they thought they could not. One old girl spoke of receiving her first effort prize at the end of her first term. She'd failed the old-fashioned entrance test, and finally she felt she deserved her place, that her effort as well as her ability was seen and recognised. These are all great examples of who we are as a school. Teachers don't have to give up their free time. They do these things because they choose to, because we choose to be a school that is generous, to be the kind of school that sees how hard you try and how curious you are, and wants you to be happy and successful, in that order. Overwhelmingly though, students spoke about their houses, each with their own unique and some might say quirky personality. English girls are adventurous and creative, said one alumna. Roach boys are confident and charitable, said another. A fielding girl is someone who is fun, sent someone over Teams. Loving to all and ready to face whatever Mr. Lord throws at them. Some spoke of house music. Burton House putting ABBA to shame last year was particularly well remembered. And there was something about crows in Clifford. As a Christian school in the Catholic tradition, each of our house families takes its place in our whole school community. We are a school that sings together, because we are also a school that prays together. And the individual identity of our houses is reflected in our house prayers. Baines House, perhaps appropriately as the newest members of our school, pray for a guardian angel to light and guide. The passionately loyal young men of Allen pray to their Redeemer, friend and brother. And the stars of Arundel pray for the freedom to sing, dance and praise. But my favourite, and perhaps the one that speaks most to my point here, is the Brownlow prayer. Please give us the wisdom to know what is right and the courage to do it. In stories, heroes often search for belonging. In our school, belonging isn't something you have to search for. It's something we give to each other each day when we have the courage to do the right thing. All of which brought me back to flags. Not the flags of nation states, but of our own school. Flags and symbols and crests. Think of Harry Potter again, the moment when each new student puts on the sorting hat. The hat doesn't just decide where you sleep, it decides your house, your family at Hogwarts. It's the same across all children's boarding school literature, and it's the same with us. It matters too, I think, that we call them houses. They're not teams, they're not just groups, they're houses, places to belong, to be known and to contribute. A house is a home within the bigger school. Our houses are much, much more than names or colours. Nevertheless, they each have their own badges, crests, symbols and traditions, different to each other, but part of the whole. just like raising a national flag, when you wear your school badge, when you fly your house colours or display your house crest, it's like wearing a family coat of arms. It makes a profound statement, a symbol which says, this is where I belong. But just like a national flag, our house symbols can be problematic too. They run the risk of making us believe that everyone standing beneath the house badge is the same. And just because we stand up here and say you belong doesn't make it so. I think that belonging is a deliberate act. A sense of belonging is something we choose to create as a community every day. And that choice means holding two things in balance, the individual and the collective. Belonging doesn't mean giving up your individuality or squeezing yourself into a particular mould. Your voice, your talents, your quirks, they are what make our family richer. But at the same time, belonging calls us to look beyond ourselves, to serve one another, and to live as something bigger than me. That is very Prior Park. When we look around us, it's important to remember that as a school, we do not have one badge, but many. Not one flag, but many. Not one identity, but many within a family. Belonging isn't created by the badge or the flag. It comes from how we treat each other while wearing it. Not the flag we fly, but how we choose to live underneath it. Unlike in novels, at Prior, we don't need to lose something before we can find it. Our school can be our chosen family, a place where belonging isn't accidental, but something we choose to build together. And belonging isn't something you take for yourself. It is a gift we give each other. Every welcome, every act of kindness, every moment of inclusion is a way of saying, you belong here. With that in mind, let us pray. Loving God, we thank you for our houses and for our school family. Help us to find a peace within ourselves and to share that peace with others. Give us courage to be welcoming, wisdom to do what is right, and strength to serve one another with kindness and compassion. Teach us that belonging is not just what we receive, but what we give. May our words bring encouragement, our actions bring hope, and our differences bring richness to our community. Amen.